evening, campers, as part of the Book a Boy Book Club. We're reading through all 13 long-listed books on the international long list. And today I'm quite excited to talk about Two of Sand by Geetanjali Shree, translated by Daisy Rockwell. Now, I'm excited to talk about this for a number of reasons. First of all is how this book is actually being translated. Now, I've spoken about quite a lot of translated books on this channel, and there are only a few moments when you fathom to understand how a work has even been translated based on what the content is. So before we talk about the story, before we talk about the actualities of Tomb of Sand, I want to talk about what Rockwell has done within this. Rockwell, at the back of this book, says that Shree's prose is about Dwani, which is a difficult concept to translate into English. That Dwani is about the echoes, the reverberations, than the actual meaning of the word. There is linguistic and lexical wordplay going on within the words and surrounding them that bring a greater meaning to the overall words themselves. It's a bit of a tricky notion to understand, but once you read Tomb of Sand, you'll notice it straight away off the bat, that playfulness, that elasticity of the meanings of words that have gone in to construct, that have gone in to translate Tomb of Sand is forefront. It is paramount. If you're struggling to grasp what this Dwani is and want some grounding, think of the works of Ali Smith, that lexical, grammatical play. Think of that. But the mere fact that Rockwell has translated this from Hindi means that she has to capture and encapsulate this Hindi nature within the original work that Shree has produced. On top of that, India, if you don't know, is quite a big country, and they are a lot of people, which means there are a lot of languages, which means that there are many languages to contend with. English, Hindi, Urdu, and other languages are all captured here, and they are given their own room to breathe, some of it not even being translated. Yeah, it's quite astounding. But for Tomb of Sand to weave all of this together means that something has to be lost. And for me, that is the story. I don't think you're going to read Tomb of Sand for the story. In fact, the plot for the first 250 pages, which is the first part, encounters Ma, who is an old woman. She's a widow, and she's depressed, and all the family are within the house, and she vows she's not going to leave her bed. Her back is up against the wall and refuses to move. The family's presence is claustrophobic, albeit them in a different room, trying to coax Ma out from her room, wishing that she crosses the barrier, steps over the line, breaks the partition between them. Yes, this is a post-partition novel. Ma has lived through and experiences the events that surround the 15th of August 1947, a date that is one of the most horrifying within modern history. But Ma needs to understand that we need to break down borders. She needs to become boundaryless. She needs to escape her room, and slowly but surely she's going to get out of her bed. She's going to grab her stick and she's going to walk outside. This is all done unbeknownst to her family, who then notice that she's missing. Ma is lost. They find her and then bring her back home to the place that they are trying to move her out of. Tradition. What just feels right, what we've grown up with. Surely some things are just better the way that they are. Let's explore. Let's not go on an adventure. Let's understand what we know. Ma's an old woman. She can't change. She's stuck in her old ways. Well, this is what her daughter believes. And as we move into the second part, now that Ma has moved, now that Ma has understood what she needs to do to break down those boundaries that she's put up for herself, she's invigorated. She's found a new lease of life, and she goes about about in this way that completely juxtaposes the first part. The first part is slow. The first part is the slog of this book. Get past page 200, get out of bed, and this oral bliss within this translation will just kick into overdrive as Ma finds new friends, gets acquainted with someone from the Hijra. Her daughters go in, this isn't my mum, she's an old woman, like what's going on? Ma, she doesn't care. She hears the insects, she's planting flowers, she's sweeping, she's doing really mundane stuff, but she is absolutely loving it. If you just imagine her, just walking through, and just this undertone of chuma dede, chuma chuma dede chuma. Juma kedin kia juma kewada, juma kododi juma kewada, like a yaripo juma 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 nade, juma juma nade juma. We, as they say in Hindi, that. I hope someone gets this reference, and I hope that you consider picking up this book. This was an 8 out of 10. I've been reading partition literature for some time. Following the Booker Prize, there have been the obvious ones. Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie, Kiran Desai's Inheritance of Loss. I'll leave my reviews for those down below. And one which I'm hoping to tackle later on this year is Rohinton Mysteries, A Fine Balance. What you might notice with those 3 books is that they're English language. Indeed, one of the classics of partition literature, Khushwant Singh's Train to Pakistan, is English language. That's not to downplay the importance of these books or to say that you shouldn't read them. Instead, there is a wealth of post-partition literature out there that we haven't had in English language, that haven't reached our audience, that haven't had the opportunity. Hopefully a book like Tomb of Sand, now that it has had recognition with Western audiences through International Booker, we might be able to get some more. We might be able to get a more well-versed understanding of that period of time. Highly recommend.